All right, we're trying round 2. Hey, yes, we do want to tag Marcus Sager because Marcus Sager is with us. Hi, everybody. It's Thursday night, a little after 7, but it's time for the Jason Elliott Show. We're here tonight with me and with Marcus, and we're going to be talking all about dealing with difficult people, especially now that it's the holiday time. So y'all know every December I like to do a whole series on the holidays, and next week we're actually not going to have a new episode because we're going to be on vacation. But we figured we'd start tonight.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So, I'm going to ask you the questions I always ask to start the show off that you never answer, and I still ask anyways. Who are you? Where are you watching from tonight? What's the weather like where you are? How's your mom? And what are you doing to be 51%? These are the questions I ask, and you never answer. You never answer them either.
I know.
We're just going to put that out there. As you can see, we went really casual. We're flying out in just a matter of hours. So as soon as we're done with this show, we're hitting the sack, and then we're going to get up early and go on vacation and be great and get more prepared to deal with difficult people.
Absolutely.
During the holiday time.
By going to a different country.
Absolutely. Yes. Usually this is where I get up and go get myself something to drink, but tonight we're already all here, so we might as well hang out. And I'm trying to look and see who's here, but my eyes aren't that good. Jonathan's here. Paul is here. Who else is here? I'm gonna try to look at this without... Nope. I can't make it quiet. Alright. Some of y'all caught earlier we had a little bit of an issue. Facebook was not going live. It was getting on my nerves. So we tried again. It was being difficult.
Dealing with difficult technology.
And one of my tips for dealing with difficult people is exactly what I did with the Facebook Live feed. And we'll go over that in just a minute. Let's see. Jeff is here. Hey, Jeff. Mark is here. Hi, Mark. I saw a couple other people. I'm trying to see who's here. Jason's here. Let's see. Oh, good. Jonathan said it's very clear now. Well, that's a good thing. It was probably acting up because we were on Wi-Fi, and for some reason it just hasn't been working on Wi-Fi at all. So, yeah, I don't know. I would like to point out that we have a red knight back here in the back. We had the Little White Party this past weekend for World AIDS Day and HIV awareness, and Marcus actually was recognized for all of his hard work in the last year to decrease stigma and increase awareness and all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so tonight we roped him in to hanging out with us and talking about difficult people, because he deals with that some.
Just a little bit. Not too much. Yeah, definitely this one right here.
I said if he's dating me for this long, he knows a little thing or two about dealing with difficult people, so he's an expert. We might as well bring him in. Sandra. Hi, Sandra. And the other Sandra. And Aunt Phyllis. Everybody. I love it. And we're right at the end of the song, which is perfect, because the end of the music means the beginning of the show.
Yep.
Yes, it does. So we're going to fade that on out so I can actually read some of your comments that are coming through here. And tonight we thought that it would be really cool to talk about dealing with difficult people. And actually, some of our regular viewers, Randy and Monica, both asked if we could talk about dealing with difficult people, especially during the holidays. Because now we're in kind of like the middle of it. Thanksgiving is behind us. Christmas is ahead of us. And sometimes not everybody's filled with the spirit of joy and giving and cheerfulness. So we all come across those difficult people. For people that may not know you, though, most everybody watching the Jason Elliott Show knows I'm Jason Elliott. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
So I have, well, actually, I guess I can start where I live. I live in Stafford, Virginia, so that's where we're at now. So we're actually in my bedroom, believe it or not, with a makeshift, bookcase behind us. So anyway, I work for the fire department. I work for Prince William County Fire Department, and I am a supervisor for them. So I manage a station. Anywhere between 10 to 15 people on my shift is what I manage. So occasionally it can be difficult dealing with a lot of people, and obviously like everybody else, I've got family members and we hang out during the holiday season, so it can be difficult to deal with them as well.
Yeah, and I'd imagine too that since you're running a lot of calls, you deal with a lot of difficult people that are calling in.
Absolutely, too. Outside of the firehouse. So the everyday public, that call 911, those are the ones that we're dealing with. And even the individuals that don't call 911, we have interactions with people at the store or driving the apparatus around. Wherever we may go, we run into people all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess just kind of in life in general, even if, you're not like a firefighter, you would have difficult people. I deal with them day in and day out. But the thing is, I think a lot of times we think of like, oh, the patients are difficult people, or, the other teammates. In life, there's just general difficult people everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's the holidays. It doesn't matter, if you know them or you don't know them. But for whatever reason, during this time of the year, we tend to pick up on it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I'm one person that I just absolutely love the holiday time. I've been super busy, so I can't embrace it the way that I wish I could right now. But I love the holidays, and I love Christmas time, and I love people to be happy and give and share. And so for me, I'm a little more sensitive to difficult people and negative people during this time of the year.
Sure.
So I figured tonight we could just kind of share a couple of our tips with you, and if you have tips or you have experiences or things that you want to talk about, just type them in the comments below, because I'm looking here. I can see Brian's already saying hi, and Shannon is saying hi. Both of y'all are saying hi to Marcus, and neither of you are saying hi to me. But that's okay. So yeah, if you have questions or comments, type them below in the comment section, and we'll address them as we come along. In the meantime, if you want to hit that share button on the bottom, maybe some of the difficult people in your life will hear us talking and decide not to be so difficult. So I guess one of the very first things that I always think of when I deal with difficult people is trying to be a little bit more empathetic. So the first thing for me, especially in the holidays, is being empathetic to people who are being difficult. Because if I don't, if I don't feel the same way, there's got to be something that's different about our past. So for me, when I come across a difficult person, I try to remember that while this is a time of the year where I'm super excited and I have a lot of really great memories, I love thinking back to decorating the house with my mom or putting up the tree and sleeping under the tree. As a grown adult, I still sleep under my Christmas tree. As soon as it goes up that night and almost every night after that, I sleep under the Christmas tree or in the same room because I love it. And I just have so many really great memories that push me through the holiday times. But what happens is a lot of people, they don't have that. So around this time of year, instead of being filled with joy, they're filled with all the negative stuff. So for me, while that may not be my case, the first thing that I have to do is just remember to be a little more empathetic. And that also means talking to people. We've talked about, talking with them and asking questions. But even without asking questions or being like, so what made you a Scrooge? We can certainly take the time to just understand that maybe their holiday times were harder. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think the first thing that I remind myself, and I want to share with you, be a little more empathetic and understanding that the holidays actually may not be happy holidays for everybody. So for me, that's the first thing.
Sure, and I mean, it depends on what somebody's going through, and 100% you definitely have to empathize with them. Or sympathize. You may be sharing a similar situation that they've been through, and communication is key. That's the number one thing, is that if we as human beings can't communicate with each other, we can't help each other through hard times. The one thing that I try to do too when dealing with a difficult employee, difficult citizen, or a difficult family member during the holiday season is try to keep a level head and maintain a positive attitude, 100%. And I tell my guys and gals that work for me, that's the one thing that you are absolutely 100% in control of, is your attitude, and you have to maintain a positive attitude. So nobody can tell you to be in a bad mood. Nobody can tell you to have a bad attitude. Nobody can tell you to have a negative attitude. That comes from within. That comes from with you. So if you choose to be in a bad mood, then you're going to be in a bad mood. So coming from somebody who manages other people, who interact with people on a daily basis, what I try to do, number one, is empathize or sympathize and communicate with those people that are having a rough time, and try to maintain somewhat of a level head and a positive attitude when dealing with those individuals. If anything, you show them the respect and you communicate with them, and you sort of kind of establish that root cause of what's causing their heartache or their headache or making them feel the way that they feel, you can start to come up with a plan of action to kind of get them back on track where they need to be or where you want them to be.
Has there ever been a time that you can think of off the top of your head where, like, those things that you just said, you put into practice and you saw the results?
Absolutely. I mean, it's every day. It could be something relatively small, like figuring out where we're going to go for lunch, or where we're going to go to buy a Christmas present, or, you know, are we going to pay $30 for a little bit nicer of a tree, or are we going to buy an artificial Christmas tree? I personally like an artificial tree. He does not, because it's easier. I can put 3 sections together, plug them in, and go to town. So you kind of have to communicate with each other. You got to figure out what's causing the issue and what's causing the problem, and then be adults, be mature about the whole situation, and then come up with a plan of action to fix it. So yes, on a daily basis, even if it's something teeny tiny, little itty bitty thing that could, you know, balloon into a big issue, being able to recognize the warning signs and nip it in the bud early, so that way you can prevent it from happening.
Yeah. Well, and I think too that's a really good thing to remember, is that, you know, a lot of times when we come across a difficult person, to us, you know, we might think, oh my gosh, like, that's nothing. Why are you being, you know, so dramatic over this little issue? The second thing, you know, first is just to be a little empathetic. The second thing that I try to remember is everything's relative. Mm-hmm. So, you know, to me, a certain thing might be this huge issue, whereas to you, it might not be anything at all.
Sure.
So I think it goes hand in hand that, you know, you be empathetic, but you also understand that just because something doesn't seem like a big deal to you, it's relative to their situation. So especially, again, during the holidays, you know, like I'm thinking about, like, someone might think, oh, like, okay, for a real life example, there's my granny. My granny passed away just a couple of days before Christmas. So while I've got all these really, really, really great memories of growing up at Christmas time, around this time of the year, I think about my granny having passed away. And every time that I see a wreath, and if it happens to have blue in it, I made a wreath, like a flower arrangement for her funeral, that was blue and white. And, you know, it had the greenery and the butterflies. Very beautiful, if I do say so myself. But, you know, so anytime that I see a wreath that has blue in it, for whatever reason, that just brings back that particular memory of losing my granny. And that year, it actually snowed a ton the day of her funeral, and we actually had to postpone just about almost everything. So anytime it snows around this time of the year, it's really bittersweet for me. So for a lot of people, they're like, but it's just snow. Like, this is great. Relative to, you know, your experience, snow might mean something else. To me, snow is just this gentle reminder of, you know, having lost my granny at this time of the year. Now, I will say that while I get sad, you know, that I don't have her here anymore, it's an awesome thing for me. So it might trigger me one way one day and one way for another. And I know that that's something that makes me difficult to be around. Because I know that when I express my feelings, it's not usually like, oh, let me just tell you. It's either like, "Bleh!" or, you know, like, get away from me. So I'm very extreme when it comes to my emotions, and that can tend to make me a difficult person, and I know that. So one of the things, too, is that we also have to realize that maybe we are the difficult people. So that's something I have to remind myself.
And that is contagious. I mean, you know, very much like positive attitudes are contagious, so are negative attitudes, and people tend to latch onto that type of, I guess you could say, aura or atmosphere. And if you're creating that difficult atmosphere to be in, then people are going to feed off of that. They're also going to carry that forward. Yeah. You know, so it's a slippery slope to be on, and, you know, it's a hard time to be in for certain people having difficult times during the holiday season. So
yeah, definitely. Just want to say hi to some people that are watching right now. Ren and Luann and Xavier and Kelly and Sarah, Derek, Greg, Catherine, Stephen, Michael, Stefan, Tom. Oh, Cece's here. We got everybody. Let's see. So some people are chiming in. So by all means, please join Luann and Jeff, who are also typing in here some thoughts.
Yes, please. It's easier for me to answer questions and come up with, a solution to any problem that you guys may have or a situation. Maybe you're kind of looking for, affirmation of what you did or did not do in a situation.
Or just somebody else's perspective.
Right, absolutely, 100%.
Especially right now, I'm already in vacation mode, so...
Yeah, brain turned off.
Yeah, so I will say whatever with no filter. Jeff has a really good one here, and it's the 3 C's of a successful relationship. Communication, compassion, and compromise.
Sure, absolutely.
And I think when we talked about that empathy, yeah, that's that compassion right there. You talked about communication and sharing that with each other. And when it comes to compromise, we're going to have to realize, like I said, sometimes we're the difficult one. Or sometimes it's not about how we see a situation, but understanding how someone else does.
Absolutely.
And compromising on the fact that I didn't handle that the right way, or I didn't, see that the right way. So, yeah, I think that's awesome. Thanks, Jeff, for saying those 3 C's. Really important for any relationship, and obviously I'm here with my partner, and we're talking a lot about, like, partnerships and also, like, families and things, because this is the time of year where families come together.
And there's been a lot of compromise on both of our ends.
Yeah.
There may be some stuff that I want to do that he may not necessarily want to do, and we have to meet in the middle to make it a successful relationship.
Yeah. And, that sometimes is difficult. Because he can be difficult, and I know I can be difficult. So, dealing with difficult people, I think is a day in, day out kind of a thing. But also it's really important to remember, like we said, for whatever reason, this time of the year, from right before Thanksgiving to right after the New Year, it seems like emotions and reactions and opinions are so much more, energized, and they're just so much bigger than they are any other time of the year.
Absolutely.
So I think too, to remember to just keep that in mind. Brittany, Michael, Kyrie, and Sean are also joining in. Feel free to say hello and let us know what you think about difficult people, if there's ever been someone difficult in your life, or even if there's a time that you realized you were being difficult. How did you handle that from your side? So Luann says, the slightest thing might set someone off, and they don't mean to react the way they do, but they can't help it. Compassion and empathy are huge. Absolutely. And dealing with difficult people sometimes means acknowledging the situation, but not trying to fix it. And I think that's something really important too, especially keeping in mind what we were talking about, the time frame of the holidays. We can't really fix everything.
Sure.
I was reading a post from someone who was like, I'm sick and tired of people trying to make me like Christmas. I hate Christmas. I always have. I'll never like it. Why do people think something's wrong with me? I just don't like it. So understanding that maybe Christmas just ain't your thing. I'm never going to understand that because, I love Christmas. I love putting up my elves, my trees, my lights, and listening to Christmas music all the time. I love it.
But then again, that's where that empathy comes into play.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to tell you that they don't like Christmas, there's no sense in forcing it on them. And understand the situation that they're in and just kind of let them be. If they don't want to feel pressured into, buying a gift or celebrating Christmas, then let them rock on with their bad self.
Yeah. Why not? They can work retail while the rest of us go buy it. Right. We all play a role. So I need somebody at the store who doesn't want to be celebrating Christmas, who will still let me buy the things to celebrate it, and I don't know, I think we all have a role to play. Jessica's joining us tonight. Brittany says, hey Jason, miss you too, Brittany. Hope you're doing well. And Kennedy says, there is medical research that shows the lack of vitamin D with daylight savings can affect one's mental health and emotions during the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Sunshine does the body good.
Yeah, and that's why we're super excited. We're going to try to tone down our difficultness because in just a few hours we're going to be flying out to get some vitamin D for a week on the beach. So I'm really excited about that. And maybe when I come back, I won't be so difficult to deal with for either this one or anybody else who's watching this. It's like, holy crap, you're the most difficult person I know right now. It definitely could be.
Yeah, on a scale of difficult to deal with, you're about this big, though. I mean, you're very small.
He's only saying that because you're watching right now. Hey, Robert and Chris. Good to see y'all. You know, and I'll say too, probably like I wanted to save this for a little bit, but since y'all are so talkative tonight, oops, I just got rid of the video.
What'd you do?
There it goes. So, my number one thing when it comes to dealing with difficult people, after you've been compassionate, after you've been empathetic, after you've, you know, been relatively and objectively kind of surveying the situation, just don't.
Yeah, I mean, there is a quitting point. There is a stopping point.
And I think that's really important because if you're somebody like me, I want to keep trying and I want to keep going and like I want to make everything better. I'm a fixer most of the time. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to dealing with difficult people, not everybody in this world is meant to mesh perfectly with other people. And sometimes the best thing that you can do is just be absolutely real and say, I need to step away from the situation. Mm-hmm. Because the more that you deal with a difficult person and it's not getting fixed, the more likely it's going to become that you are the difficult person in other people's lives as well. Yeah. So there comes a point in time when you have to be honest with yourself and say, I'm going to step away from this situation. You know, difficult does not mean impossible, but sometimes difficult is a sign that it's not supposed to be. Right. And you have to determine where that point is for you. But I know that there have been, you know, people in my life where I'm like, man, this is really difficult, and I'm trying. And then it dawns on me that, oh, like, I'm not meant to be this person's, you know, like, very best friend, or I'm not meant to be this person's confidant, or I'm not meant to be the fixer of this situation. They have other people to fill those roles. And that's always really hard for me to say, you know what, like, I need to step away. But probably the most important thing that you can remember when it comes to dealing with difficult people is that it's okay to not deal with difficult people. In my opinion.
Yeah, well, it depends on your current situation. I mean,
sure.
You know, the holiday season, sometimes it is difficult to, you know, kind of distance yourself from a house full of folks. So,
yeah.
I mean, you just, again, like I said, have to maintain some level of a positive attitude and keep your head level so that you don't carry on that attitude or that negative type of behavior.
Well, and I think, too, especially in the holidays, that's one of the most important things that any of us can remember. Because we are going to be stuck in houses full of family and friends and loved ones and not so loved ones. And, you know, sometimes we just need to go take a walk and get some fresh air.
Or drive or something.
Or, you know, like go with your favorite family member that y'all get along with and do something. Mm-hmm. And that's totally okay. I think a lot of times we feel like, oh my gosh, I have to be in the same room with everybody for the entire time. And to me, really, the holidays are truly about getting the most joy and love, and kind of like capturing that last bit of the year and putting that in like a savings account for the next year ahead. Mm-hmm. So, you know, when you're dealing with these difficult people, you're withdrawing a lot, and you don't have anything in your account on which to collect interest. So I see the holidays as a time to like spend time with the people that give to you. That promote like a healthier and happier lifestyle for you, and then you've got something to move forward with. Let's see. Luann says, my 9-year-old autistic son told my mom a while back, it's okay, Oma. Abby is hard to love sometimes, but we love her anyway, no matter what. And that's a really like out of the mouths of babes. I think that's a really good point too, is that it's hard to love people, but, you know, just because they're difficult doesn't mean it stops.
Right.
And just because, you know, you take a break or you walk away doesn't mean you no longer love somebody. It just might mean you love them enough not to be in that situation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeff says, some things can't be fixed during a holiday season. Just had a friend who had a family member killed in a MVC. Let's see, that can make this season tough now and in the future. Prayers to his family. Yeah, definitely. And I feel like a lot of times this time of year, You know, whether the death has occurred previously or whether it's happening right now. You know, like I said with my granny, and my aunt was just a couple of weeks before my granny. You know, it's difficult. It really is. Especially like Jeff is talking about the first time we have to go through it. So there are so many factors in life that can make us difficult people. It's not just a difference of opinion or, you know, a death or, you know, different journeys. A lot can go into making us difficult people. So it's really difficult to know how to deal with difficult people because, you know, you got to really invest the time. Oh, yeah, and this is another good point, too. Scott and Alan are both joining us, and Monica and Allison and Ryan and Matt, everybody. Luann says, sometimes the ones who are the hardest to love need love the most.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very, very, very true.
Yeah.
And they could very well be being difficult on purpose for attention, that they're crying out without saying, you know, I want your attention, I need you to love me. You know, they may just be difficult for that very reason, is that they just want attention, they just want you to show them that love.
Yeah. So, real life application then. When I'm being most difficult, what goes through your head?
Well, you really haven't been difficult, though. There's really been no difficult situations that we've had to deal with. I feel like you and I are two very mature individuals. I mean, sure, we have arguments here and there may be some times that we get frustrated with each other, and I think that you and I are very good at reading people, and, you know, we understand that it might be best just to kind of let it chill for a little bit, and then after the tempers start to go down a little bit, then we can get back together and then sit down and talk about it, you know, in a mature, calm, cool, and collected fashion, just to make sure that we're both going at it like adults and that we're not going to get irritated or angry again. Yeah. So I think a lot of it is, you know, if I see that you're having a difficult time, I'm very much like you. I want to figure out what the problem is and fix things, but you know, you've also told me that you just need some space. You just need some alone time. I just need to kind of check out and chill or turn my phone off or disconnect from social media. You know, I think it's good for everybody to have some sort of stress relief. So, and try to identify what helps them kind of regenerate or reset the switch, per se, for lack of better terms. You know, if you know that you're having a difficult time, it might be best to remove yourself from that situation so that you don't negatively affect another relationship that you have with other people, whether it be in your family, coworkers, friends, etc. So I think, you know, when dealing with you, when you have a difficult situation or you're being difficult, you know, a lot of it is just that communication, that compassion, you know, and saying, hey, I'm here when you need me. You know, I know that you know that I've told you that. I'll give you your time. You know, you just let me know when you need me, and I won't bug the ever living daylights out of you.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to that communication.
Sure.
So, definitely. How often do you find me to be difficult?
Every day. I'm just kidding. No, it's few and far between, very seldom.
Yeah. How often do you feel like you deal with difficult people?
In my personal life?
In any arena in your life, how often do you feel like you're dealing with difficult people?
I mean, you're always going to deal with difficult people. I mean, every day I probably deal with difficult people, whether it be at the firehouse or, you know, going to buy a suitcase to go to Cancun. You know, the lady that was checking me out, she didn't take the little buzzer off. You know, not that that's a difficult situation to be in, but it's just something small. You know, and it may be that it is Christmas time, it is the holiday season, people are buying more and more stuff, so there's a heavier volume of people, you know, and depending on how I reacted to that, you know, would determine how her day is or how her day has went. You know, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that would get very frustrated at that situation, you know, and they would go back and they would say, oh, well, she's not doing her job, or this person's incompetent or inept, you know, so. Yeah. I think that you do deal with difficult people every day, or difficult situations. It's just a matter of how you react to them based on your attitude and whether or not you've got a level head on your shoulders.
Yeah, definitely so.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We have a couple more people talking. Good. Matthew's joining us. Hi, Matthew. And Patty and Mercedes. Two of my favorites right there. Hello. Now, I know that both of y'all deal with difficult people, too. So if y'all have any insider tips on dealing with difficult people, go ahead and comment below.
Absolutely.
For me. They are both stellar nightlife entertainers. So I know that they have dealt with their fair share of difficult people. Maybe even when it comes to booking me in a show. Who knows? Mercedes says hi, y'all. Hi. Ashley's here. And Jeff says, Jason, I'm right here. So, speaking of Jeff, who is not a difficult person, at least I don't think so.
I'm just kidding, Jeff.
So Jeff says, as I get older, the best gift is being with those you love, not material things. Family is priceless, no matter what the holiday drama may be. Definitely. Mm-hmm. And I'll add to that, too. Touching on like the family at Christmas time or the holiday time, your family is who you choose your family to be. So, we've all got blood family, but I learned pretty early on in life, I've got my blood family and I've got my chosen family. I've got those people that serve as my inner circle, that serve as my family, and they may not necessarily be biologically related to me, but our heartstrings are tied tighter than you'd ever imagine. And then I've got my blood family, those to whom I'm genetically, and biologically connected. And so I totally agree. Jeff is so right that family, whether chosen or biological, is priceless. Your experiences in life are, they can never be replaced. They can never be taken away. Your clothes, you'll outgrow them or they'll wear out. Your Xbox, or he likes his Xbox, that's why I picked it. Yeah. It's going to go bad one day. Our phones are going to be replaced. All of these things, they have a shelf life. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that doesn't really have a shelf life is, the experience of life and living. Don't just be satisfied with surviving, but you should live instead. Austin is here. Hi, Austin and Vicky. Andy's also here, and Luann says, I agree, Marcus, reaction can be everything. Totally. And just to touch on that reaction, so we have D here says, funny and interesting, we were just talking about a difficult person we met going to live music. But we can avoid that person because there's lots of beautiful people out there like you two. Loved when we walked in on Saturday and you gave that big old smile to us. And I think that's really good. That speaks to the reaction. When somebody gives you a reaction, you take note. You may not mention it right then. You may not make a big deal of it at that point. But it sticks in here and it sticks in here.
Yeah, people are always going to, no matter what the situation, people are always going to remember how you made them feel. They may not remember your name, they may not remember what you were wearing, but they're definitely going to remember how you made them feel when they interacted with you. Yeah. Whether it be the first impression or every day throughout the rest of their life. They're always going to remember that.
Yeah, definitely. John's here. Hi, John. Thanks for tuning in tonight. If anybody else has anything that you'd like to share, please by all means put it in the comments below, or you can give us like a thumbs up or a frowny face or whatever you want to do. But if you got anything that you'd like to say to bring us out for the night, you just let me know, because I've already taken up half an hour of your time, and I try not to go too crazy, especially when we've got a flight in a couple of hours. I think this one still has to pack a little bit. And,
just a little bit.
Yeah. But you know what? That's okay. And I'm seeing all kinds of hearts and fingers. Like good fingers, thumbs up, and little reactions like that coming across the screen. So I love it. Do you have any final thoughts for us? If you have final thoughts, type it below. And if not, that's all right. You can be difficult.
Yeah, I think the final thought is that, we're all people. We're going to have good days, we're going to have bad days. I think that we are wonderful creatures on the planet, on this planet Earth, and the biggest thing is we have to treat each other like human beings. And sometimes we're going to have bad days, sometimes we're going to have good days. But I think what's most important is that if you're having a bad day, I need to understand why you're having a bad day and communicate with you and be compassionate. So that way, you can get back to where you like to be and be that positive, happy, productive human being, walking this planet. So
definitely. Yeah. And I think probably my closing word is just, dealing with difficult people can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be impossible. Find your way to deal with it. Every situation is going to be as unique as the person in that situation. So do what you know is right to you. Let me see here. I'm looking real quick. There you go. Everybody's saying thank you and have a wonderful trip. John was asking how we're doing. We are doing great, and we're going to be doing even better in in about 12 hours.
Yeah.
We're going to be laying out and enjoying, getting that vitamin D so we won't be so difficult anymore. But you know what? Difficult things happen and difficult people exist, and we just get through the difficult times and we come out better on the other side. But yeah, definitely. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Look at all those hearts and those thumbs up. I love it. I love when you do all that because it makes us think that we're less difficult and more enjoyable.
Yeah, sometimes.
Thanks for all the well wishes for the safe trip. We will do our very best to enjoy it. And I can assure you that regardless of whatever happens, we were having fun when it happened. Because that's what we're going to do for the next week. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you for not being difficult people and for being people that care how to deal with difficult people. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And next week, we're actually not going to have a new episode of the Jason Elliott Show because, like I said, I'm going to be on a beach. And the only thing coming with me, aside from him and our friends who are downstairs packing, is my book and a good old margarita. So we'll be back the week after, and as per your request, I'm going to be reading the Christmas story again. I think that's what it's called. But I'm going to be doing a Christmas reading for you for the show the week after next. So make sure that you gather all the kids around with your hot chocolate because you all asked for it again. So I'm happy to read it for you again. And of course, I'm going to do it in my style. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening tonight, a great weekend ahead. But I am going to leave you with this phrase that I always, always, always leave you with. It goes something like this. From dreams to goals and goals to reality. Because dreams are for those who are sleeping. If you're alive and awake enough to deal with difficult people, you're alive and awake enough to set goals. And then not only set them, but work towards those goals. It might take some time and a lot of hard work, but eventually those goals are going to become your reality. Your reality is yours and yours alone. Nobody else in this entire world can make your reality for you. And most importantly, that means nobody else in this entire world can stop you from making it for yourself. So dream real big, work real hard, and then bask in the reality that you've created for yourself. And be sure to come on back next Thursday, well not next Thursday, but every other Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next episode of the Jason Elliott Show. If you ever want to hop on here and share your journey or your story, just let me know. We can make that happen too. We're planning out a good 2018 ahead, and I can't wait to have you there with me. Until 2 weeks from now, have a great night, a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody. Don't be difficult, but if you are, know I still love you. All right, high five to close it out. Good night, everybody. Mwah.
Good night.
Happy December. We'll talk to you soon. Bye. I love all the hearts. It's great. You're wonderful. I'm getting off now. Bye.